Get her by the time she sits down. Y'all ready? You're good. I want to welcome everybody to the June 5th, 2022 meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order. If I can get approval agenda at this time.
Second.
Second. All in favor, aye? Aye. Commissioner Kitchens, we do the honors tonight.
Y'all will bow your heads, please. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for watching over us. We thank you so much for the opportunity to live in this country, the greatest country on the earth. We thank you for all the things that you provide for us to continue to give us these freedoms that we have. We thank you for our military, for our first responders, police, sheriffs, fire department, everyone that puts their life on the line for us, Lord. We thank you for them, and we ask that you continue to bless them and put your arms around them. Please be with us tonight as we go through the meeting tonight and do the wills of the county so that everything we do be pleasing in your sight. We ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Kitchens. We move on tonight. We're planning and zoning. If anybody's here in opposition to this request, you'll have an opportunity to speak. Mr. Petrowski?
Chairman, our only item this evening is to rezone a little bit less than 3 acres at 325 Highway 49 North. The Planning Commission has recommended the approval of this request. It is to rezone from C2 to RR to allow the placement of a double wide.
Ms. Etheridge, you here tonight? Anything you want to say or any questions? Does the board have any questions for Ms. Etheridge? Anyone here tonight in opposition to this request? None?
I make a motion to
Approved.
approve the request. I was going, woo! Approve the request for rezoning from C2 to RR at 325 Highway 49 North.
Second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you. All right, we move on tonight for consent agenda approval of minutes. We had a work session at 4 o'clock on the 22nd of June, along with a 5 o'clock work session at third Tuesday, and also a call, which was on the 21st, and then we had a call meeting on the 28th. Everybody's had an opportunity to review the minutes. If there's no changes, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, Chairman.
A second and a
Second.
motion. Well, we got two motions and a second. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right, Ms. Johnson, you got a report for us tonight?
So first, on behalf of the Jones County Chamber, we want to thank y'all for continuously supporting our event, our Independence Day extravaganza. This is our 4th year doing it. This is actually our 1st year doing it with a commercial firework company. With that being said, we probably had, it's hard to estimate how many people we had there this weekend or this past Thursday. But we're estimating anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 people, which is huge for our community. We had people attending from Twiggs County, Jasper County, Baldwin County, Wilkinson County, which is huge tourism and tax money for our community. And with that being said, I have some drone footage I wanted to show you. These don't really have the numbers.
And that was not near.
No, this is very early on. This is very early on. Our drone footage, we had a helicopter come in, so they had to land, and then they can't really do much at night when it gets dark. But as you can see, this is like early on. You see the parking is already slammed. But as the night got on, Mr. Widener and his wife showed up late, and you said you parked close to 18?
Yeah, we're 18. Started the line going all the way out both roads to Highway 18, and it was packed.
So,
Get there on time.
well, he wasn't the only one. There was many people that came for the fireworks. All of our food trucks sold out of, food. But you can keep going and changing on. But we have a video, a short video, that's kind of a great promotional video that I wanted y'all to see. But with it, all this being said, I would like for y'all to please consider maybe continuing the funding that we got this year and for our future budget, because this is a huge asset to our community. The numbers speak for themselves.
The compliments are unreal. I just said that's been the best.
Right. And when I left at 11 o'clock, our restaurants still had lines around them. Our businesses got tons of benefit from our event. So not only did the food trucks sell out, our local businesses got money too. So. So, you'll have any.
You may want to get with Charlie Newberry too. He did some drone
I
footage.
got some.
Okay.
I got them.
Yeah, 'cause
Some of
he-
those photos were from him.
Yeah.
But his battery died, and it rained. So, but I will say he did text and say that by the end of the night, the numbers were just enormous, and
Yeah.
that it was probably comparable to any sporting event we've ever had here.
And I'll tell you this too. I've only missed one, and that was last year because I went out of town a day early. All of the football fields, soccer fields had people on them. Every one of them.
Yep, all the way to the
Usually
parking
it's
lot.
just the two, and that's not counting how many people were sitting in their vehicles in the back of the trucks in the parking lot. Not even got out of them to watch it.
Last year, I think we had about 2,500, and so for us to double that in 1 year is huge.
And I had people that kept asking me, "What fireworks are you talking about?" And I just, because I was like, she's advertised every day on the radio that I listen to. So
Yeah.
I was like, so you may want to look at other venues for that for next year too.
Yeah.
So, but
Compliments
great
like-
job.
The compliments I got was like, our fireworks was so much different than everybody else's because we had things going on well in advance,
Right.
like for kids.
Yes.
Bouncing houses.
Everything was free for the kids, and that was awesome. I think Tri-County was the sponsor for the Trico Go.
That and Party Jumper. Mhm.
And that was phenomenal because the kids got to enjoy that for free. More food vendors next year.
Yes, we could have used
Poor
like 4 more.
Poor Sawmill, he never slowed down. So,
But yeah, definitely I would love to get your support again, because the numbers, and us to have other communities come to ours, and we asked why. And they said because they can go see fireworks in their community, but they sit in their car. And there's nothing else for them to do but watch fireworks and go home. So for us to have this event and be a free community event is just huge for us in general.
Y'all must have mud wrestling in there because I seen more kids coming out there just red. They found a big mud hole out there. And
There's some of one of the bouncy houses.
Is that
with
what it
water
was?
slide, right?
slides down.
Yeah.
I've never seen so many muddy kids in all my life. I'm like, they gotta
Well,
be
last
mud-
year it actually rained, and they took the bounce houses down, and kids were using the tarps as slip and slides. So they'll figure out a way.
yes, they will.
Even had some local talent up there dancing.
Yeah, I knew. I saw that local dance talent over there.
Just saying.
I think we got some blackmail footage of it also. It would be him dancing on stage.
What
But
can I
again,
say?
thank y'all. But again, thank you, and thanks to Parks and Rec. We couldn't do
great.
it without it. So
Great event. All All right, we move on, let's do new business. Mr. Will, are you doing that, Jason? Oh, I see you hiding in the back. You got a, government center data wiring bin?
Yes, sir. So as you know, we went out for bid for the complete rewire of the building, and we had a pretty good turnout. Jason, I don't remember exactly how many it was. It was around 12 to 15.
11, yeah.
11, okay.
Still
A little off then, okay. After going through some of the cheaper ones, we did decide to go with the absolute cheapest one. It's 5 Point Infrastructure Services out of Atlanta. I called references on 5 Points and their third-party contractor, and they all had great reviews. One of the big things I was looking for was what kind of jobs. I mean, like looking for big jobs. And I believe one of them for their third party was FedEx warehouse. I want to say somewhere in the neighborhood of 2,000 drops. I mean, we're only doing 200, so I think they're more than able to the task. So I'm asking for your permission to go ahead with this. Now, one thing we did want to include, and we didn't include this in the actual bid, was for vertical wire management. We're talking $500. So I did want to ask you if we can ask them to add that on to the initial quote. So that's kind of where I'm at here.
Any, questions for Will?
Real quickly, was there any local submissions?
As far as Jones County, no. There was a couple, and there was one in Byron. There was one, I believe, in Milledgeville, but
Okay.
they were, I think the cheapest, let's see, or the closest was the guy in Byron was about $3,300 more expensive.
Okay.
So, let's see.
I just asked because I was hoping that we would have someone local bid and have the opportunity to exercise local preference too, because that money stays in town. We can pay a little bit more.
Right, yeah, and it just goes to how local do you want to get. But
Right.
as far as Jones County, no, there were no bids.
All right. Appreciate it. Motion to approve 5 Points Infrastructure Services for the low bid for cable installation here at the Government Center.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Wood. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, I got one more question because I don't want to come back up here. As far as the vertical cable management, is that implied
Oh, I'm
with this?
sorry.
Because Levita will make me go back before y'all.
Amend your-
This is coming out of that SPOS money that was earmarked.
2015.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
could,
Just make a new, just have a second motion.
She's gonna
I make a
add-
motion to
Okay.
include the additional possible 500 up to 1,000
For vertical
for
management.
vertical drops.
Second.
second,
Okay.
all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Ayes have it. Now, you can go home.
All right, I appreciate it.
Sorry about that.
All right, thank you.
Enjoy your evening.
Yes, sir.
Send
Miss
us
King,
pictures.
you've got a library position? You come and see us by tonight? You got a big smile on your face?
I just love getting up and talking to y'all about the library, so thank you for letting me come. First of all, I just want to tell you the library is thriving. It is over-thriving. I don't even know if that's a word, but we're just overwhelmed with the community support of the library. It is becoming the community center of Gray. We're having between 150 and 200 people every day, except Saturday. Saturday, we have around 50. But we're only over 4 hours. So we're just jam-packed. And it's not just summer reading. We are very busy in the summer because of our summer reading program, but our numbers go back to April, May, well, back to January. But we're seeing the increase now that people are coming back to the library. We've got a lot going on there. We had come before asking for the part-time position, which y'all approved of, and that's been tremendous. And now one of our full-time has left. She has resigned for a better job, more pay. So we moved that part-time position into the full-time. So now we have the part-time open, but I'm coming before you to ask for a full-time from that part-time position. I have all of this to give y'all, so I don't know if you want to take one and pass it would be the best way, and I'll start this one on this side. I also gave you a calendar of all that we're doing for the last month and this month, just to show you how busy we are.
I get a full report from all my grandbabies.
Oh, good, good. So if you look at this, you'll see the part-time position is at the top, which we have now. It's currently in the budget, and that's what we're paying. This, underneath it is the full-time position, how much we would have more to pay, and the difference in the cost. So we would need $13,977.60 to have our full-time position brought in. We checked with the Middle Georgia Regional Library System. There are 16 libraries in our system, and at the current levels of our door count, circulation, reference questions, all of that, we're closely matched with the Shirley Library, but we're actually have much higher numbers than them. And they have 4 full-time positions. So that's one that's kind of comparable to what we have. Another thing that I want to mention is we have our Library Wow. If y'all don't know what that is a traveling library that she goes to all the counties. She's going to outside all the affiliate counties in Middle Georgia. She's here a lot. She's here at our senior center. She's doing computer classes, library, all the events that we have in the county, Turkey Festival, everything, she's here. But she ends September 22, and if they don't continue the funding or the grant, they're pretty much hoping that we will take that over. And there is absolutely no way that we can do that with the positions that we have right now. If you look down here, it says current community collaborative efforts include, these are all of the community groups that I am actively involved with. This isn't like I just see them every once in a while. I'm talking to them all the time. I'm going to the Boys and Girls Club. I'm working with the Family Connections. We're having meetings at the library. I'm going outside. I'm working with the Board of Education. We're about to start play cards, which will mean that every child in Jones County, the Board of Education has approved this, every child can use their lunch number. They don't have to have a library card. They show up at the library and all they have to say is, my lunch number is 3558, and they can check out books. So that's phenomenal, and I believe that's really going to increase, especially for our low income, the kids that can't get there or can't get a library card or don't have someone to help them. They can check out books. There's also fines free for kids' books, so there's no fines if those kids don't return them in 8 months. There's no fines. So that's tremendous for our kids and our community. I just have to brag because on the back of this sheet, we have 16 libraries, as I said, in Middle Georgia Regional Library. We are probably one of the middle of that. There are some huge libraries, Mary Vincent in Baldwin County, Washington Library, Riverside Library. These are big libraries. But I want you to notice that for our summer reading registration numbers, who's just knocked it out? Yes, and that is because of our community. It's because of the support of Jones County News and those they're all supporting us, word of mouth, and just an amazing staff that I have. You will not find anyone that shows up at the library that don't feel loved and supported. And we're really working right now on our black community. We had, at the first of the summer, we weren't seeing a lot of our black community coming in, but now they are. I don't know, we just exploded. And we got the Boys and Girls coming once a week, Boys and Girls Club coming once a week, and just so many more of our patrons across the board. Everybody is coming in. I was thrilled with that. So, and if you look on the next page, you will see the numbers. So we've got, April 18 to 19, 19, 20, 20, 21, and then this year. And I think if you see the numbers, it is unbelievable what we've done this year. We've never had these kind of numbers in Jones County. Y'all, we got 92 children's programs. They had 47 the year before, and then 15 in the third. It's just 49, 23. It's just, you can just look at those numbers and see. The biggest thing about this is we can't continue this without another full-time staff because, I'm as the manager, I'm the promoter, I'm going out into the community, I'm going to the schools, I'm going to the meetings, community meetings, a Family Connection we work very strongly with. Main Street Gray, I've just talked to Ashley. We're about to start doing a bunch of things with them and trying to do some cooperative things. So my job is to get out there and promote and to bring people into the library, but I cannot do it. I'm at the front counter because we usually have one staff member. We have so many seniors and low-income people that come in and need to use computers and don't know how. So we have somebody in there, sometimes sitting there for 2 hours, helping them find the forms they need it could be Medicaid, it could be their taxes. So that's one of my 2.5 is in there. And then we have people, we're at the shelves helping, we have the phone calls are coming in. I mean, if you came in now, even today, they're lined up to check out. And the 3 of us there, one was in the computer lab, and then you got to have lunch. And so we're just wonderfully overwhelmed with how things are going at the library, and we're thrilled. Our outdoor area that I've talked to y'all about, we're about to really explode with that. I'm getting with Jason on that company, but that's doing the playgrounds. They're going to help us, but we've already got, oh my gosh, Mr. Mark Smith has done is in the middle of doing 3 beautiful welding pieces to put on the building. One's a big dragonfly. He's already finished it. Oh, it's just beautiful. We got the garden club working on the garden area. I've got the Boy Scouts. One of our Boy Scouts, he's getting his Eagle Scout. He's working on being the one to oversee the whole thing for one of our scout troops. And that's going strong, but I don't have time. That's one of the reasons it hasn't gotten done, because I haven't had time to, we're working on it, but I'm so busy. So anyway, that is what's going on. If you have any questions or anything that I can tell you about. Yes, sir.
You mentioned the demographic of the African American community. Just
Yes,
out
sir.
of curiosity, is that just an observation, or do you actually track it?
It's an observation.
Okay.
Because, when we actually, we had 64 kids last week for our for our reading. And the first probably 3 or 4 weeks of the summer reading, we wouldn't have any of our African American community. Now we are. There's like maybe 10 or 12, and we're getting even more, and bringing in the Boys and Girls Club. I don't know, and I've actually got several people that want to start a panel, that want to work with us in a panel. Kim Heiss came in. She wanted to be involved about what's missing, or can they not get there? Is it like there's no transportation? Maybe they just never have. Some people just never come to the library. They don't even think to come to the library. We're actually working with the Scout Troop. They're going to put the little libraries, the free libraries, we've got those. They're making them for us, and we're going to put them in those communities so they can at least get books, and then we're going to make sure those are stocked. So I've got that going on, and that's one of the things I want to spearhead, but I haven't had time to really see why aren't they coming in. We want them to come in, desperately want them to come in. And the Boys and Girls Club this summer, they've only got about, I think they have maybe 20 kids, 15 kids, but during the school year, they have a lot more, so we can get them over there, a lot more kids in there. But that's just one of the things that, absolutely, why,
I'm glad
what
you're
can
asking
we
the
do?
question, and I'm going to suggest this. From a school perspective, look at what schools, because obviously I'm in District 4, so it's a hike to get to that library, so Sherlin is closer, and that may be a reason. The other thing is books. I know when I went to the library as a kid, there wasn't a whole bunch of offerings, and it was a very small section. I don't know what you have that would inspire me to read. I don't know if I can go see Langston Hughes or pull Toni Morrison off your shelf, or some of the newer materials, right? So, and I'm not the authority on book reading. I was an engineering major, so, we only have English for 2 classes. But I taught ELA at Northeast High School, so I can get you in touch with some of our ELA teachers.
Would be
and
wonderful.
Prescribe some books for you.
I would love that.
And then, of course, just looking at demographics in general, what schools, because I'd be curious to see what schools are actually coming in terms of Clifton Ridge versus Gray Station and so on. And then looking at boys and girls and how we actually target those populations. The teacher in me wants to know, how do we reach boys, right, who really don't want to read? And then do we pick up the titles, the anime stuff that kids are into now, and some of the sports stuff, and tie that in?
Yeah.
And then bridging those gaps between the Boys and Girls Clubs and other after-school outreach programs. And the no-brainer in Jones County, churches are they're great ties and connectors, so I invite you to go to those African-American churches on Sundays when you're bored, and get out, because I know Wilbur Green is right there in Haddock, and I'm sure that's a community that may even partner to get kids to the bus. Get kids either by bus or van to
Over
the
there.
churches. I don't know,
Wonderful.
really, I'm not going to speak for these guys, but really is another one of those bought-in guys, Smith down at C3 and so on. And of course, you reach out to Donald Black, who's, and Francis Adams, who stakeholders in the community they can connect you to. And I'm only saying that because we know reading is the critical linchpin for everything else that we do. So.
And then also getting the Little Joe, the school mobile library.
Yeah, if it's
up and
going.
going.
Yeah, they're
Yes.
working on it, I think. That's huge. That can get to those areas for sure.
And the last thing I just want to share, just in general, invitations. You mentioned something specifically about Medicaid, and I don't know who our senior community officials are for those things, but inviting them out to host those events at the
be
library makes
awesome.
sense. I know they're doing stuff at the senior center, but I just started thinking about Social Security and even financial aid for our rising juniors and seniors going to college. Those are great opportunities. So, with all that being said, if there were no other questions, I'm going to motion to approve the addition for the position.
Second. Any more discussion? All in favor, aye?
Oh, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it.
Doing
Thank you
great.
for
Thank you.
everything y'all
Good
do,
job.
because y'all are, got my back, so.
Like I said, I get reports every time my grandkids come back.
They're
We
great.
went to the library.
They stayed open to 10 minutes after 5 this past Friday because we were still trying to select books. So.
Yes, and we will. We will. We love our patrons, so. Thank you very much, and I would love to get that information. That would be
Okay.
wonderful. So, you know where I am,
Yeah, come see you.
at the library.
Yes.
Pavilion rental security deposit.
Right, just trying to, work a little bit more efficiently here, and we've, just want to address the security deposit issue for pavilions. The way it works right now is people have to pay a $50 security deposit and a $50 rental fee to secure a deposit or secure a pavilion. What I want to do is do away with the security deposit, and the reason why is because I don't really feel like it gives us a lot of protection. If something were to break, it would cost a lot more than $50. And the trouble that we have to go to get a W-9 from the people. Here's what has to happen. They go to rent it. We collect the money. They have to get a W-9. We mail a check to them. So during all that process, we're getting phone calls. The government center's getting phone calls. We're calling people to try to hunt down W-9s, all for $50. And if something broke, it's going to be a lot more than $50. And if it's a trash issue, there's no way we can really pin it on the user because the facility is open 24/7. So they might have left it spotless at 5 o'clock, and some kids came and trashed the place after that. So given all of that, I'm hoping that y'all will consider waiving the security deposit just for the pavilions. For our bigger venues like Genesco Clubhouse and Knox Center, I think it's important that we keep it, but it would save a lot of headaches to the government center and my staff, which is it's worth it if it's providing us with any level of protection. But $50 isn't going to replace anything in there. So that's it. Any questions?
A question probably not for you, probably for Jason or board. Do we see ourselves ever getting to an electronic version? I know they have things called iParks or something like that, but it's an annual fee, and I don't know that we're there yet with the number of parks that we're renting, if we've reached that threshold yet. But I know we did it in Bibb. We were a long time getting back to renting parks like that, where you could call in, you put your deposit on a card, or you put your deposit online, and if everything's fine, you just release it. It never transfers from bank accounts and all that. So much easier.
Yeah, we've got Civic Rec now, and that's used for sports registrations, and you can do rentals through that too. And we do.
That's what we do the rentals
yeah.
through.
And so Bert and I were talking about that some earlier, just maybe placing a hold on a credit card type thing through that system rather than doing all this.
So, out of curiosity, how many people know that, other than the sports teams, that's where you can go to reserve spaces?
Well, when you click on reserve or reservations on the website, that's where it takes you
Okay.
to Civic Rec. And if they call us, usually we'll sometimes refer them there just for future reference. We'll answer their questions, but we'll say, for future reference, if you had any questions about what the fees are or that sort of thing, they can go to Civic Rec.
So, are we tracking that, and do we need a second app for that?
For what?
Civic Rec should check it, right?
Civic Rec doesn't have an app, but it has a mobile version. We can print reports from it. But I will say this, just since I've been here, we haven't even needed to or attempted to collect a $50 security deposit, and we've probably done between 25 and 40 rentals since I've been here. So, and the other thing is, 99% of the time, those places aren't rented. And if there is something that's going to occur, it's going to probably be during that 99% of the time. And there's also other places that we rent, like ball fields and stuff like that, no security deposit. So it just, and if it wasn't for, the finance department getting phone calls, when's my money coming? Our department getting phone calls, we're trying to hunt people down for W-9s. Some people can't fill out stuff over the computer, so they're having to come, it's just a lot for what it is.
A lot of check writing just for the deposits, and I'm sure Levita and several others would appreciate.
Yeah.
How many folks do we have writing checks for the rental?
Probably still the majority, I would say. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's probably, we take a lot of credit cards it's probably 50/50. So,
I think
Are we
really-
charging a fee for using the credit cards? You know how some places it's a fee of
3%.
yeah.
3% to use a credit card. That's something, I think you still have to do that at the water department, don't you? And that's a huge, everybody complains about that. Why? So if I have to use my credit card to secure a rental, I'm gonna write you a check
Yeah.
too. If I'm gonna have to pay to use my credit card.
Well, right now, we don't charge an additional fee. It's $150 for, or whatever, if it's $150 for one, it's $150 for the other. So,
In a lot of businesses, that's just the cost of doing business, is using a credit card.
Yeah.
It's convenience, and you eat it. A lot of business, some businesses charge the surcharge.
yeah. Same way at Genesco, whether you pay cash, credit, card, it's the same price.
Well, I agree with the theory of doing away with it, A, because it's only $50 and it's not really providing anything for us. B, we're spending probably more than that in staff hours trying to get it back to them. But the flip side of that is I think we need to promote card use or online use and figure out a way to get it in that so that because I don't like the thought of, so what? If we do have a problem, so what?
Yeah, I would say, I agree with Sam on this. Increase the fee to cover the credit card, right? But as a committee, Parks and Rec, really look at how all the venues are and make the reservation or the deposit commensurate with the facility to make sense. And then at the local level, parks, do away with that, because I don't want to spend Levita's hour and whoever else's additional hour tracking that down. By the time we get through with 3 people, we're over $50.
Yeah,
in
and that's
hourly
how,
wages.
because we have to do a check request. Well, first we have to hunt somebody down to get a W-9. That takes time. We have to do the check request. We have to send the check request in, and then there's usually some phone calls between the time the check actually gets out and gets in that we have to deal with. And every time you get a phone call, we'll have to call over to accounting and say, have you sent a check? Yeah, it should be there Friday.
You'd be surprised how many times there's a little note that stick on that check. Hold here, they'll pick up at the gun. So
Yeah.
I signed the last ones. That's awesome.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The second to last ones. So I think that's a great idea. I think you should look again at the other ones just to make it make sense as a policy. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to incur a $50 loss of time and wages
Yeah.
for something that we're not collecting. And then on the reservation side, especially for a facility, I think we may need to get a little bit more information. That credit card hold, and that verbiage needs to be in it. If you cause damage, this is the fee.
Yeah.
Right, that will be charged to your account, so we get away. Yeah.
Well, it does say that in our agreement too, to where you are responsible for damages there.
But
So,
place to hold,
Yeah.
if it's $250, if that's the deposit,
yeah,
place to
that
hold.
would be the
for
way to
that.
go. If we,
Yeah.
if we get the technology to do that, that's definitely the way to go.
Chairman, make a motion that we approve the removal of the security deposit for the paper check
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion?
for pavilions and to look for ways to implement the electronic versions better.
Second.
Second.
Sorry.
Who was, you got the second?
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion? None, all in favor, aye?
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Bert. Mr. Risner, resolution, James Wars Animal Park.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Jennifer spoke to the board about this a few weeks ago. She wasn't able to be here tonight, but she's out of town. But what you have before you here is a resolution that I drew up, basically expressing your support for the Shane's War animal pardon event that's coming up in a couple weeks, and quote unquote pardoning animals in the shelter that week, and just inviting the public to participate by adopting a shelter animal.
Commissioner Kitchens, next meeting, you'll need to have a check with you because we'll have a formal presentation on
I've been saving up my bottles to go cash them in, so I'm ready,
the,
Chairman.
all right, just letting you know, so we can put it on the next agenda, that there'll be a formal presentation.
That's right.
And any other commissioner wants to chip in, we'll welcome that too. But I was challenged, so we're just gonna have to make sure we keep him up to it.
That's right.
All right. Have we got a motion for the Shane's War?
Motion to adopt a resolution for Shane's War animal pardon, Chairman.
Second.
Second. Any more discussion? If none, all in favor, aye? Aye. Let's have it. All right, we've got a 22 and 23 Central Georgia Tech MOU. Mr. Risner?
Mr. Chairman, this is just an annual agreement with Central Georgia Tech where we provide them $20,000 to help with literacy and adult education programs in the county. Under a separate agreement, they provide us with, I believe it's $32,000 for rent. So we actually come out ahead on the whole deal. But this is just approving that annual MOU with Central Georgia Tech.
Motion to approve, Chairman.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye. All right, grant agreement, dog and cat sterilization.
Sterilization.
Okay, we'll do it right,
That way.
whatever you want to call it. They're gonna get fixed, put it that way.
There it is.
Spay and neuter.
So this is a grant that the county has received on a couple other occasions or several other occasions, and it actually comes from the sale of license plates. And the state provides this to different animal organizations around, and it's to go specifically for sterilizing dogs or cats. The agreement this year is $5,000, and I would just ask the board to approve the grant agreement.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
I got a question
Uh-oh,
first,
discussion.
hold on. Have we got the surgery suite completed there?
Yes.
at-
It's up and running, yeah.
Right.
Yep.
All right.
Aye.
All in favor, aye? Aye.
Sorry, sidetrack.
Mountain Bike Trail. Mr. Burt, you've got a,
Well, we had one bid placed for the mountain bike trail out at Matty Wells, roughly $234,000 for the bid. The company is Single Track Trails out of Colorado. I did call on the references. All the references said that, they would work with them again. One company, the two I talked to the longest was company out of place out of Tennessee and a place out of Asheville. The Asheville guy talked about him for 30 minutes and said that they did a great job, that they were mountain bike people, and that they had an issue about 3 months after they completed the project, and the people came back and repaired what issue they had with some drainage. No questions asked. So, given that they were the only bid and they checked out, I recommend that we use them pending y'all's approval.
Motion to approve and award the bid for the mountain bike.
We can't have this one bid.
I'm so tired of this.
I was ready to say that. Wait a minute, dog. Wait, get a second for, let me,
Is there any local?
get a second for
We
discussion
already
on-
asked this question. This has been asked and answered, for months. It's been like, hey, where's this thing? And so, I know that there was only one, and I accepted that there was only going to be one.
Did we have a second for discussion?
Sorry, we thought
Second.
that again.
All right. I don't want this lady on my right to sit
Thank
there
you.
and say you didn't.
So I knew it was going to be just one. I had to accept this. Look, it's been what 8 years. I mean, come on, I'm just ready to get it done.
You got enough money?
It's in the
There's
budget.
266, 865 left in that account, so
Well,
it'll,
how'd you swing that one?
Is that Splash, Jason?
yes, it's 2015 SPOS. So when we had the track designed, when we went through the design process, we let them know how much we had available and asked them to do a cost estimate. And fortunately, the bid that came back was in line with their cost estimate, which was in line with the funds we had available. So it all worked out in this case.
All in favor, aye?
Bert, that other 33, we need to figure out what we.
Splash pad, I could go on and on.
We got some bids shortly on some playground equipment. It'll be needed up there, because they're outrageous right now.
Oh, amen.
Mr. Risner, you got a budget process?
And this is just kind of a question for the board as we get into the budget process. My thought was maybe to do what we had done in years past, which was kind of to have, I think the last time we did sort of a day-long marathon, just had all the departments come in and gave them 10 or 15 minutes to go through sort of the high points of their budget, and gave them maybe 10 minutes for presentation, 5 minutes for questions from the board or something along those lines. Is that kind of what y'all were thinking for this year, or any other thoughts or suggestions?
You made it sound so bad, a day-long marathon.
I thought you were saying my name at first.
A day-long marathon.
Just so you feed us, we'll be here.
Yeah.
So, to be honest, my question to the finance department was, are we in a place where it's necessary? I know we talked earlier about zeroing budgets and having them start from the very beginning, but obviously it's July, so to zero out a budget and have them expect to have it ready may not be realistic. And so my question was the necessity. Can we hold what we have? Because we know we have some major capital improvement projects that are coming up, and hold everybody to the line where they are, and really look at, if you haven't spent it, can't spend it now, tighten the budget on it, and then focus on those big capital projects that we know we have some shortfalls in.
And just stopping to, getting these department heads realize if, don't spend it just because you got it. That's been my biggest question in the past, and a lot of them have done a good job, but like when you ask them, what do you need this for? And it's, well, if I don't get it, if I don't spend it, I don't get it. And that's something that they need to feel comfortable if they need it. They can come to us without having to, do that.
I agree. I think Lavita and Jason and them do a great job preempting the budget. By going to department heads and saying, look, you didn't spend this much money through the year. You're not going to spend it now, or you don't need to spend it now, type thing. And also bringing us real good estimates and recommendations. I do think it'd be valuable for Wendy and John to be. I thought it was very helpful for us the first time we done it. Even though it is a long, arduous project. I don't know that we need to go line item by line item and question every single thing, but maybe have finance come back with, here's a recommended budget with the line item that might be hot topics or whatever that we need to talk about. Because there's going to be a lot of them that are just no-brainers.
Yeah.
With the basis being we're holding the line to what we had. Probably the only discussions is if there's something that either can't be held the line or really is justifiable why we need to talk about it.
And I think also we need to think about the newer department heads too. Is that support there for them from our financial department too, as them understanding completely everything that they've got available to them?
But I 100%, Daylon makes a great point that not only have we made a lot of commitments lately in salaries, equipment, contracts, but we've also made some commitments on future liabilities that we're going to be have to face in the next couple of years. When we start talking about the water and the sewer and the economic, all those things are big ticket items, and we gotta think about that now too.
Yeah, and I'd be so kind to say for our new department heads, that would probably be the primary focus. I mean, everybody else, I think, knows what they're supposed to be doing and where they are budgetary wise. But for these guys, they might be the exception to that because they have learned that process over the first 100 days, right? I'm coming to have a meeting with you about the first 100 days. And really giving them the opportunity to delve into the budget process to understand what's available through the splosh and even be prepared for the next one. So, again, I don't want to go through an act of futility and giving everybody the hopes that, hey, if you come ask for it, we're going to give you this or even give you something because we do have those big things. But for these guys that are new, I'm inclined to be open to that. So, whatever the will is.
Consensus of the board, I like how we've been doing it.
Me too.
Jason
Do it
and
on
Levita.
Saturday and knock it all out in one day.
Very good.
I mean, if the department head feels comfortable with the guy, and they don't have any special requests, they can, because we had some last time sit out there and we called them in, and it was just like, I'm good,
Yeah.
Is there a
Don't-
Saturday you're looking at, so that I'll just tentatively?
No, I can put together a doodle poll and send that out and
All right.
try to see what works for everybody.
And if it's just two, do work session before a meeting.
Yeah.
Ideal. Look at that.
All right. Good, that's consensus of the board, great.
All right.
All right, second reading.
Do you all have any questions for minor changes expanding the board, requiring continuing ed?
Nope.
I make a motion to accept second
There
reading.
we go, that's what I was looking for.
Sorry.
Second.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Uh,
Ayes have it.
No early meeting, historic moment.
We got this, I'm sitting, hey, we got a lot of old business I need to have y'all postpone for a later date. Old business number one, I need, IT position, need a motion to postpone.
Motion to postpone item number 1, IT position, Chairman.
Got a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Is Ms. Smar here tonight?
Nope.
Motion to postpone Genesco
Motion to
fundraiser.
postpone Genesco
Second.
fundraiser.
Second, all in favor, aye?
Uh,
We're gonna knock this out. Water rates,
Motion to postpone water rates.
second.
second. First reading.
Motion to postpone first reading of water
Y'all
ordinance.
getting good at this.
Second.
Second, and one more.
Motion to postpone the resolution, set the water rates,
Second.
Chairman.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Department head.
Oh, good stuff.
Let's do something different. Mr. Risner, you wanna start tonight?
I don't have anything.
Oh, look at here.
Vacation.
One of these
did
two ladies
good.
up here? Bert? Yeah.
Just thank y'all for everything, from the support for the fireworks to improving the various projects. Things are looking good. Oh, also, everybody's excited because the new golf carts are in at Genesco. They're working out good.
I'm
So,
gonna come play golf this week.
come on,
I just want to ride the golf cart.
come on.
Brandon, anything?
I don't have anything.
Good deal.
Thank y'all for everything.
Wow.
Got new employees?
Not yet. Not yet.
You said you had 3 that accepted position. We still on the, good deal. That gives you full staff again.
It will.
Good deal.
Everything goes well with them.
Good deal.
Background and whatnot, so.
Oh, wait in the background.
I'm just
Cross the
curious,
fingers, thinking.
is there a formal water training program for new employees?
In-house?
Yeah.
Not formal,
Oh.
I would say, right now.
Okay.
There will be, there absolutely will be.
Amen.
It goes like this, you're right with me today.
That's what it is right now.
You see that leak right there?
Let me see how you fix it.
Jump down in there.
And in saying that, my idea is definitely formal. Only have one new employee thus far, I've been here in 4 months. That will come for sure.
And I
There
know-
are outside Jones County training that I follow.
In-
Certifications and
Encourage your employees, because your resume read amazing in terms of certifications, especially considering your age and time in the business. Encourage your employees to do that, because you shouldn't be a one-man show.
it is a huge benefit now, especially the younger ones that I have. I appreciate it very hard.
Very good.
hard Because of my age.
Mm-hmm.
And they seem to be listening. I got one that knows listening, so.
Good stuff. Appreciate it.
One out of the few, I win.
Yeah.
We all win.
There it is.
Good deal. It's all department heads. Papa Reed, you ready?
Absolutely.
Papa Reed and Mama Reed's got a,
All of us or just him?
it's
The citizens, yeah.
just citizen comment.
Committee.
We got the neighborhood there. This is your district, Daylon. Speed breakers, and they got a long petition they'd like to submit.
Hello, everyone.
Hello?
My name is Shirley Reed, this is Papa Reed, and we have other neighbors. We brought some of them. We don't want to bring the whole crew and scare everybody. I think we're in Mr. Daylon's district. We live on Ruby Drive, and we've only been there about 12 years, and we're an older community, well, we were, and now some of the older people are kind of dying out, and we have some newer people, and I'm not calling any name, with tenants on our streets. They kind of been speeding along the highway and making it into like I-75 Junior. So we're having a lot of speeding, and what we're trying to get are speed breakers on our street. There are 2 of them, and I like to play show and tell. Give me those pictures right there. real
One
quick.
is near the
Sure.
top of the hill when you come.
Those, so
that
you know
side.
about those. There
I
are
ride my bike
2.
over there,
There are
bunny
2
hopping.
partial, so you know about them. then.
Absolutely.
They're partial speed breakers. So what we're trying to do is get those replaced, fixed, and have additional ones put in, because when I say speeding, they are truly speeding. Actually, on this past, I think Monday or Tuesday, I watched from my cameras, my security cameras, just kind of spread them around and look at those. And these 2 cars were they were actually drag racing down our street. The 2 speed breakers are in the middle of the street, but if you Ruby Drive from Joy Cliff, it's kind of long stretch, so they speed all the way down the street. Those are pictures from my 88-year-old neighbor. Her mailbox are the big,
Oh, I was about to ask.
gorgeous mailboxes that are pretty. Her husband built that before he passed away about 30 years ago. It was really pretty. One of the neighbors, 3 houses down from her, was speeding so fast that he ran into that mailbox, and now that's what you see what's left. It's like little pebbles. And what he said was he was doing 30 miles per hour.
In a tank.
And that person lives at 142 Ruby Drive. Mr. Wider, that person lives at 142 that actually hit that.
Okay, that's the sister.
That you could hear cursing across the street all night long.
problem.
And he had a learner's permit doing that one. So you could hear them, and they speed up and down that street. They were drag racing down there all the time. So what we're requesting are for those speed breakers to be replaced, and maybe some additional ones between Joy Cliff and we're like midways Ruby Drive to have those. Even the school buses. I mean, the school buses speed down Ruby, so you see the kids doing this on the seats when you sit on the porch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you actually see that. So it's, you know, you can kind of laugh. It's not really funny, but you know, you see them, you know, flying down the hill, and there's so much traffic. We have people that cut through, not just the citizens that live there, but people use it as a cut through, and they really speed so bad. They're on one end of Ruby, and we're on the other end of it. So they see it, and we talked to different people. We were getting these petitions, getting these signatures. I think we have like 52 signatures, something like that. But we talked to different people, and everybody had the same general consensus that the speed is ridiculous. That same 88-year-old neighbor right there. Same thing.
I got that covered on 2 of mine, so. All right.
Yeah, so, you know, she was at her mailbox, and the speed is so bad that, you know, you have to step back when you see cars flying down there because you don't want to get hit just checking your mailbox.
Have you called the sheriff out
Oh,
just,
lots of times. Which day you want to know if we called?
is he coming? Does he come?
Yes.
We
Okay,
actually
good.
They did
went to the
come.
Sheriff's Department last Thursday,
Okay.
and I have, I like to be a little bit more specific. Okay, repairing the existing speed breakers. And in addition to that, between the first speed breaker on Ruby coming from Joy Cliff Road, we'd like to have speed humps, not speed breakers, but speed humps.
Like those on Menard Street or something that's going to really slow them down. 'Cause it's terrible.
Because if it's a large vehicle, they don't slow down because the existing speed breakers, they're roughly 4 inches high.
Oh, but they'll knock your front end out from not
Yeah.
if you hit them.
Commissioner
If
Martin,
they're truly
since they
the-
had these, they want to know if they get on the agenda, since they already had the required
Got
signatures
speed
plus 2.
breakers there,
Yeah.
it just needs
You know,
repairs.
And additional.
If we
Next
need
meeting?
to write up a description for the signatures we have, because we,
So my concern right now is just making sure that you guys get what you need. So next meeting on the agenda, is that what we need to do?
You can't vote on it.
We
Right,
can't
I
vote
know we
on it,
can't
but
vote
I
on
mean,
it.
So it'd have to be.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other part is,
we'll have more information at that time.
right, and then having Jason kind of coordinate what the needs are, because I don't want to put in just this if you need that.
Okay, we've gone by Public
Public
Works,
Works, yeah, he
and
told us
we've
to
gone
come.
by Sheriff's Department.
And did
Okay.
you all enter
So
a
they,
speed
both of
breaker
those
policy?
departments
Yeah.
are aware.
Gotta make sure that complies with the
Yeah.
number of
Yeah.
citizens on the roadway.
All right.
So I think the repair of the existing ones is easy. We can do that without any board action.
Right.
And we'll have Public Works get on that. And then let me look back at that policy. The board adopted a policy just a few months ago dealing with speed breakers and percentage of signatures required and that type of thing. And I just don't have it all committed to memory. And
Well, we have roughly 80% of the signatures.
I think
Okay.
it was 75.
I think it was 75. Yeah.
What was it, 75?
I think it was 75.
Okay.
Make sure we got the right
Okay,
number.
okay.
I got-
If we need to get more, I can.
We just need to
Okay.
verify that.
Now, if we go
Okay.
to side streets like Janice and Smith, we'll go and get those also.
Okay, all right. Let me look back at that policy and see what all we need. And
we'll
I
put it
think
on
you've
the next
probably
meeting.
got most of it right there. Have you got their contact information? If we can just make sure we get your contact information, we'll check that and get back in touch with you.
On the repair, I don't know what our standard is, because I don't remember reading that in the policy.
And they've also changed, because we were talking about that. Some of the, used to be more of a rounded 4-inch round, now they're more of a 4-inch triangle, which is, if you don't slow down, it's a harder hit. Okay.
Much harder
The
hit.
rounded one, you'd kind of just bounce over it. This one, bam.
Okay, oil pans, transmissions, yeah.
And not only that, they're saying that there's only 2 speed breakers on there. I know for a fact that
One
there used to
further
be,
down.
there was 4 there a few years ago. I'm thinking that there used to be 6 or 8.
Okay.
So y'all may want to look at that number.
Get the adequate number.
That have lived there for some time,
Uh-huh.
said it was 7 and all.
Yeah, and I knew 4 over the last 8 years.
So can we have
If y'all could just get all the
an update
signatures
on
you can,
that
I'll
number
give you
and
2
make sure
more.
John
So you-
knows
There was
that?
some more there.
We'll have you on the next meeting.
Got somehow never replaced.
Right.
Shannon to get with, but the
And if
next
you got a
meeting,
spray paint where they
do it,
should
you
go?
know, do it formally.
Sure.
Okay, just FYI.
What color would you like?
I don't know, is it orange?
I can handle that part.
Appreciate
I got
it.
2 I can handle. Thank y'all very much.
Thank
you.
Appreciate it.
Next meeting.
Before we leave, hold on, he got something. I want to ask you one other thing too now. At Ruby Drive coming off Bethune, we don't have a street marker there. There's no sign says Ruby Drive there.
Right at Mills' house?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. And the
Children
we had a children at play sign. We came up and asked for that. And about a month ago, they put one sign up facing, coming from Bethune going up. Now, from the other side, coming off of Joy Cliff, coming down, there isn't one, and it should be. So the traffic can see it on that side, so you know the same thing. Children they're playing, I think the speed is on at 25 miles an hour, what they have there.
So children at play signs.
Can you give me your name and phone number? We'll make sure.
Okay, my name is Royce Tucker.
RYCETUGGLE.
All right. What's the best way to get in touch with you?
Phone number is 478-74-36-498.
All right.
And the speed breakers that's there, they come over, y'all talking about 10 loose car, they don't even count. All we hear in the house is bloop, bloop.
Because it's right on the other side of my driveway.
Yeah.
And what they'll do, they'll cross it, and they'll stop right there. Now, the speeders that want to go down through there, and they got a quarter of a mile stretch there, it's flat, and they just run it down right to the corner and stops, just before running out into Bethune.
Or if they coming from the other
Now,
way, they do the
and
same
if they
thing.
come from that way, they do the same thing.
Just to
and
confirm.
head on down the street. Now, they don't even ignore it there. They run across at 50, 60 miles an hour and keep on going.
Just to confirm, the chairman asked, did you see any red or blue Corvettes in your neighborhood? Good, all right, my son didn't
Have
do
you seen
it.
it? Have you seen
I
any
was
on Joy Cliff going too fast?
My son didn't do it, I was out of town, I was just making sure.
No,
Oh, he's had the key?
Charges and challenges.
Okay,
and
no.
Camaros. That's what it is.
All right, well, next meeting, we can
Okay,
do
so
this fish.
we'll see y'all
Okay, and get all the signatures you can, that way we got the numbers.
Thursday week, Tuesday week.
Mm-hmm. Thank y'all
Thank
very
you.
much.
All right, thank you.
Any other citizens tonight?
Make a motion to adjourn
No,
to.
you can't. You're next.
Oh, gosh, I'm trying to get us on into real estate over here.
Unless you want to do quick on your comment.
Had a wonderful time at the fireworks show. Had a wonderful time going to the library. If you're not going to the library, if you've got kids in your life, take them. There's all kind of activities that they do. Get there. That's all.
Was out of town and missed all the excitement, but I know a good time was had by all, so keep up the good work. For the citizens that are out there watching, we appreciate you, appreciate your support. Continue to do that because we're here for you. Thank you.
Fireworks show was pretty good. I watched it from right down the road, and it was, you could see it over the trees. It was very beautiful. I want to get with Bert and Jason about the Genesco Clubhouse. I've had some comments from citizens that talk about the one little light up near the building is insufficient. Need additional light, but it doesn't need to shine in the traffic on the highway. It needs to be at the highway facing the building so it lights up the parking lot more sufficiently and for safety purposes. But maybe, I don't know if it needs to be an agenda item or to see what kind of lighting upgrades we can do at the Genesco Clubhouse.
The Georgia Power guy was going to get me a quote on that.
Okay.
And I'm still waiting to hear back from him. I'll follow up with him.
Okay,
He's
sounds
the
good.
administrator.
All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Kitchen?
No comments, Chairman.
Wow. Commissioner Bone, I need your help to go to
I need to make a
executive
motion to adjourn to go into executive session.
for
So
real
moved.
estate and litigation.
Real estate and litigation.
So moved, Chairman.
All in
Second.
favor, aye?
Third.
You know that was one of your tenants, right? One of your tenants was one that complained about it.